Are you worthy to be followed? Are moms and dads, grandpa and grandmas, are they willing to point to you and say, grow up to be like him or her? And I told people, Steve, in 2019 in Jerusalem, and we knew the 2020 election was coming upon us. And I told them the number one hurdle for Donald Trump is I've never met a dad or a mom or a grandpa or a grandma who have told me they want their son or daughter or grandchild to grow up to be like him. That's a big deal.
This is what a chump candidacy looks like. A chump candidacy. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Those were the words of Bob Vander Plaats, one of the top evangelical right-wing leaders in Iowa, part of a growing chorus of right-wing leaders turning against Donald Trump and saying he doesn't have the character, he doesn't have the morality, he doesn't have the ability. What took you so long? I mean, well, it doesn't help that y'all are moving on to Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley. We'll deal with that, but at least right-wing leaders are recognizing that Donald Trump is a two-bit con artist. And you heard Bob Vander Plaats in that interview with the podcast host Steve Deese. If Steve Deese looks familiar, that's because Steve Deese, a few months back, we showed it here on the MeidasTouch Network, had a complete and utter kind of breakdown / realization while live and delivering his podcast and says, you know what? I've been played. I've been conned. I'm the mark. You remember this moment? Let me show you from a few months back when Steve Deese reflected on air that he and all of the Trump supporters who bought into all of Donald Trump's BS have been conned. Play this clip.
We are going to the mattresses for these people. We are offering them more accommodation, more chances than we'd offer our own family members, for goodness sakes. And for what? To have Rudy Giuliani go down to Georgia and admit that he lied? Have Jason Miller tell the January 6th commission, yeah, we all knew it was BS. What is this? Some of you don't like it when I use the cult word, but when you like being treated like a schmuck and ask for more, that is a cult. I'm the mark. I'm the sucker. I want to be such. And I resent the person who tries to get me out of that. Those are marks of groupthink, frankly. How many people in this audience sent money to stop the steal 3 years ago? How many shows did I waste your time talking about this 3 years ago? How many? I still have not recovered between the election fraud and COVID. I probably have the smallest Facebook following of any major show in this entire industry. I will routinely post things on Facebook, get like 2 or 3 comments. It's like Facebook is like, we won't ban you because then you'll whine about it and generate a bunch of publicity. So we'll just make it that no one sees your material at all. Why? Because I went to the mattresses on COVID and the election fraud issue. Only to have Rudy Giuliani say, yeah, I was lying. And Jason Miller say, oh, we knew it was all BS.
All the best people, Steve.
Email me.
Now, back to the full interview between Deese and Bob Vander Plaats. Recall that Bob Vander Plaats also posted over the weekend, just returned from an Iowa stronghold for @real Donald Trump. Person to person told me that they are done with him while they long to leave the topic of golden showers and return to the discussions of gold standards. The final straw, his lies about Kim Reynolds. And Donald Trump attacked the Republican governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds. Donald Trump attacked the 2 Republican senators, Grassley and Ernst in Iowa. And then Donald Trump gave a speech in a high school where he talked about hookers and golden showers and that he's not into that kind of stuff at a high school gymnasium. By the way, a high school teacher from that school reached out to me and said to me, Ben, what do I tell my students? All of our kids are watching that. What do we say to them when the leader of the Republican Party engages in that behavior? It's about character, Ben, is what the teacher told me. And then you had Bob Vanderplatz just mocking Donald Trump. LOL, at real Donald Trump is the only candidate ever who thought that my endorsement was for sale. Just mocking Donald Trump when Donald Trump put out one of his posts about Vanderplatz. And again, I mean, Vanderplatz endorsed DeSantis, so I'm not trying to say Vanderplatz is great or doing the right thing, but standing up and just recognizing that Donald Trump is a con man, it's at least a step, and it shows you that I think more people are waking up. Let me show you the longer interview with Vanderplatz. Then I want to show you a former George W. Bush aide who has a message to evangelical leaders as well. So first, let me show you Vanderplatz. Then I got to show you this George W. Bush one. It's incredible. Play this clip.
But now when you come out against me and by extension, the family leader, and saying that we're pay for play, we're bought and paid for, and this is how we do business, that's just beyond the pale. And that means when we say choose well 2024, everything here is not a trait of a leader. The former basketball coach in me, I used to tell my basketball kids all the time, your character will be most revealed under pressure. When you didn't make the shot, when it didn't go the call didn't go your way, what will your character be like under pressure? And what you're seeing from the former president is character being revealed. Character being revealed, first of all, with Governor Reynolds and what he did by cutting a video against her, two of the most popular governors and the most results producing governors in the country, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds, and you completely throw them under the bus and you call them names, and that just because they don't bow the knee to you. That's not leadership. And then because I don't endorse you, to throw me under the bus, my family under the bus, as well as our ministry under the bus, because we don't bow the knee to you. That tells me more than ever, this party and this country needs to choose well about who's going to be representing us as president of the United States. Because being president is just not a CEO. It's not just moving the embassy to Jerusalem, as much as we applaud that. It's not just appointing 3 Supreme Court justices, even though we applaud that. It's being a statesman. Are you worthy to be followed? Are moms and dads, grandpa and grandmas, are they willing to point to you and say, grow up to be like him or her? And I told people, Steve, in 2019 in Jerusalem, and we knew the 2020 election was coming upon us. And I told them the number one hurdle for Donald Trump is I've never met a dad or a mom or a grandpa or a grandma who have told me they want their son or daughter or grandchild to grow up to be like him. That's a big deal.
Then you had former George W. Bush aide Peter Wenner's message to Christians who are supporting Donald Trump despite his dehumanizing rhetoric. Here, play this clip.
Unfortunately, there is a long history of this dehumanization, these passions consuming people, including people of faith. And that's why I think there has to be such a pushback from others to try and, in a sense, shake them and to say, do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're a part of? That you have jettisoned almost everything that you claim to most cherish in your life to make inner peace with this man who's a sociopath, an unfiltered sociopath. And he is undisguised. I mean, that's the other thing which you're getting at. He's undisguised in who he is and what he wants to do. And that not only pushes him away, but it brings him toward him. And it's just a sickening episode in the history of American politics and the history of American Christianity.
Just so you remember, here, Donald Trump went into that high school gymnasium, and this is what he said at a high school gym. Play the clip.
He was with 4 hookers. You think that was good that night to go up and tell my wife, it's not true, darling, I love you very much? It's not true. Actually, that one she didn't believe because she said he's a germaphobe. He's not into that, you know? He's not into golden showers, as they say they call that. He's not. I don't like that idea. No, I didn't. I thought that would be a big problem. I was going to have a rough night, but that one she was very good on. She said, no.
And so we're seeing more and more voters. We cover this here on the MeidasTouch Network. Former Republicans, the party left the Republicans. Donald Trump turned at MAGA and the party left them. Here's a Republican says, if it were a Biden or Trump race, I'm a Republican and I would rather vote for anybody over Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
Is there any chance you would stay at home on Election Day?
No. I love American democracy too much that Biden and Trump, if it's a Biden and Trump race, then I would vote for Biden, even if he was dead.
No chance I'd stay home.
And I'm a Republican.
And finally, here's Donald Trump attacking the Republican popular governor of Iowa. Play the clip.
Kim Reynolds of Iowa has gone from a popular governor to the most unpopular governor in the entire United States of America. Not an easy feat. Her endorsement of Ron DeSanctimonious, who is 50 points down to me in the polls, has given him exactly 0 bounce. He's a wounded bird falling violently from the sky. I wonder what position Kim was promised in order to back someone who is so far down in the polls.
And by the way, this is what media should be covering, okay? Instead, you have the media saying, polling shows Americans are unusually sour on a solid economy. Okay, let me news check, reporters. Maybe you should be covering the solid economy versus your contrived polls. Maybe if you covered, I don't know, the news, what was going on, that America's GDP is leading all G7 nations, that real inflation was about 0% last month, that America has the lowest inflation of other G7 nations, that America's economy is growing faster than China for like the first time in recent history. How about we cover those facts? Oh, and you're just going to let Donald Trump get away with just bragging that the economy it was better under him, like when it just not, he added $8 trillion in debt. Maybe you just cover, I don't know, the news and what's going on, and we can follow the data, like what's actually happening in Iowa, what's actually happening with the economy. How about we try that? Okay, hit subscribe. Let's get to 2 million subscribers by 2024. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe right now. It's free to subscribe. And if you want to check us out as well on Patreon, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a great one.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.